Lost in the dark. It's not a good day to be a bad guy.
What's up, metalheads? This is Wayne,
And Michelle.
and we are from the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal Encounters podcast, and you are listening to
Burton and Aaron on the Lost in the Dark podcast.
Raise Your Horns.
Welcome back, Crip Crow! And thank you so much for joining us on this final episode of the Album of the Year Filthy 15 2021 list. And this episode is just number one. I really, once you all see who it is, anyone that's been watching the show for the last year will understand why this is number one and why, considering the length, I felt like it needed it to stand alone. It just really, without this, it would have been a 3-hour episode. So I decided to split it up this way, and I'm not going to do any shout outs here. This one is just, this is a big one for me. So, here it is, everyone. We're just going to launch in. Album of the Year, Filthy 15, 2021, number one spot. Here we go, and I hope you all enjoy. So here it is, my friends. Crip Crow! The final number one spot on the Filthy 15, the Mad Notes of the year. What we both decided to be the number one spot. Without further ado, here it is.
Oh, you got a damn! I didn't know you had a physical copy of it.
I have like two.
Oh shit! Well, hey, figure as much.
Bottom After Midnight.
Yes, has to be.
Paint
Has
the
to be,
Sky
right?
with Blood is number one on our list. Yeah, it has to be. You're absolutely right. It has to be. I mean, we got this tribute to Alexi right here in the middle of the crypt at all times. I mean, Jesus fucking Christ, where do we even start? Like, it's like, so this album was obviously released posthumously after Alexi's death on December 29th, 2019. And this album came out about I want to say March-ish, 2021. March or April, something like that. And these were the last 3 songs that he was able to record. They include Paint the Sky with Blood and Payback's a Bitch, 2 original tracks, and a Decadence cover, right? Where the Angels Lie. That's the band, right?
Dissection.
Dissection. Sorry. Yep. Dissection cover of Where the Angels Lie. And if you go back and listen to Dissection, you can clearly hear the influence that they had on Children of Bodom. It's kind of insane.
Yeah.
It's a great fucking cover.
And one of my favorite black metal bands of that era. So it was cool to hear them do a cover of it and do it super well.
Very
Like
well.
To keep the the integrity of the first song or of the original, but kind of throw their own spin on it. Was cool.
Exactly.
Is definitely one of the most haunting moments of the year. I just remember sitting here, starting it when it first dropped that night and playing it all the way through, and the last little guitar stuff in it, how it just kind of fades out is so like hauntingly beautiful to me after actually wraps up, and after just knowing that this is pretty much like, I mean, we've talked about this quite a few times this year, but just to have it, the last works of what he did before he passed away just be this strong and this much of a send off, I guess, is very,
Yeah, this was someone in their prime still.
Yeah.
There was a lot There's a lot more great music to be released. There was a lot. If this album had been able to be a full length, it would have been genius.
Yeah.
Um,
It was April 23rd, by the way. So it was
all right.
pretty early in the year.
Yeah. And you know, they did release the first single and the last video he recorded in December of 2000. Was it 2020 or 2019? It must have been 2020. I keep forgetting that year existed. So sorry.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't blame you. I think let me see.
It was 2020, I believe. But
I'm pretty sure it was too, yeah.
Or 20. Yeah. December 29th, 2020 is when he passed. And then this came out 2021, right? Yeah. Obviously, that's what we're talking about it. So there we go. All right.
So the video for the song premiered on March 30th of 2021.
And I fucking lost my shit. Like,
yeah.
Because it was just so damn good. It was the last video he ever recorded. And it was recorded literally weeks before his death.
Yeah.
All year long. You know, I have asked every new guest that we've had on, do they have any experience with Burton? Were they fans? They have any experiences with Lexi that they would like to share? This was, you know, last year, 2020 was the year of the black for us. And 2021 was the year of Lexi for us. And so, you know, and I talked a lot about how much the 3-track Lorna Shore EP and I Return to Nothingness means to me. This is the one that meant more.
Yeah.
This is the one that, like, look, like for me, and we've done episodes about it. We've talked a lot about it throughout the year. And and for the record, Bodum and Alexi will always, in some form or another, be present in this podcast from here on out forever. As well as Joey Jordison. There are just certain ones that it's now up to us to wave their flag and keep them alive and make sure that everyone that we know knows who they are. That's what metalheads do. That's what we do. We keep our people alive no matter what. Much, you know, yeah. So for because Bodum After Midnight was something that I was like really looking forward to, and then for me, he passed on December 29th, and it was like 4 or 5 days later until they actually like let the announcement out, and I just. It was dark, bro. Like for a few weeks though, it was dark. Like I had at that point just he was always the one I looked to for whatever reason for so many different things. It wasn't just music. It was style. It was the way you dress. It was, you know, like the look, like the whole package, you know, is like still to me to this day, like one of the greatest rock stars of all fucking time. And also though, for me, it was like, he was of our guard. He wasn't of the old guard. He was of our guard. He was of our generation. He was, he's the one that should still be here doing shit with Jasta and Randy and Dez and Howard and Zach and everybody, he totally should still be here and would deserve a place in those rankings of the next old guard, if you will. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, he was a virtuoso. His ability to incorporate neoclassical influences into heavy metal was, I the only other band I've ever heard pull it off like that was Trans-Siberian Orchestra, pretty much. Like, I know there are others, but to make it that heavy,
Yeah.
not many others could pull it off. But to also introduce metalheads to neoclassical styles of playing music, and when you, and I swear to fucking God, when you just 2022 challenge, sit down and try to learn an Alexi Laiho song on guitar. Like,
Yeah.
it's so fucking complicated.
You made it look effortless.
Every time. Every time
Like,
we saw him live.
Even the simplest stuff that he plays is just intricate. Like,
Yeah.
just so much thought goes into it, and it's very
like
carefully written.
It's like he just never like really repeats anything.
Yeah.
Like, it's different every time. It's so fucking crazy and so brilliant. And yeah, we lost. I mean, in my opinion, we lost one of the greatest guitarists of all time. This is on the level in the same year. Oh, no, because that was, but close to the same year as Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
We Randy Rhoads, Eddie Van Halen, Alexi Laiho. You know what I mean? Like, these people are in the same sentence of the same conversation because of the work they put out. And and another reason why Bodum After Midnight takes the #1 spot, besides my personal sentimental value, is the fact that how massively fucking underrated he is. And I feel like you agree with me on that. Like,
yeah.
Like this, go back. Like, he did a thing once where it was called, go YouTube search 100 guitars from hell, HEL. It was Helsinki, Finland. And he got 100 guitarists on stage to play with him. Actually, more than 100, I think. And
I'm not sure what the actual number was, but it was a fucking event.
It's one of the most magical performances for guitarists I've ever seen in my life. And
really
he had the Bodum guys on drums and keyboards, and you know what I mean. And he had the local band, his other band that was called the Local Band. Some members are there on stage playing with him too, and just a massive orchestra of guitar players. And I have watched that so many times this year, it's unreal. Like, I just keep going back to it. And just every live performance I can find of them. I'll give a shout out to someone. I will give a shout out to someone right now who I don't know if they want to be shouted out, but I really genuinely want this person on the podcast one day because they are an amazing heavy metal photographer. Someone that I met through social media. I don't know about anybody else, but like on Facebook, I've been getting an out, like ever since they switched or whatever, I've been getting an outrageous amount of friend requests that don't even make sense to me. And one of them was a lady named Tammy. Shout out you, Tammy. If you're seeing this right now, huge shout out to you. She's an amazing heavy metal photographer. She's been in the scene for many, 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 many years. And she's done a lot of really great work. She really has. She's someone that deserves attention and notoriety for the for the contributions to the scene that she's done. And she damn it, I can't remember why I brought her up. I had like a big web going in my head and now I just lost it. But she actually like met Alexi on some personal levels and told me some stories privately about him that I won't share here. I'll let her share them if she wants to come on. But through like meeting people on social media and stuff like that and having her telling me those stories just meant the fucking world to me for her to share that shit. And yeah, like I don't know, it really kind of like mental, it's, I don't know how else to say it, it just really meant a lot to me. And I hope to get her on the show someday because I think she's got some pretty incredible stories to tell. She's not a big fan of being on camera or microphone, she told me, so that's cool. I won't, it's all good if you ever feel like it. But huge shout out to you, Tammy, because you really told me some stuff that like meant a lot to me to about Alexi and stuff like that. And for him, for like, I'll never forget the first, like I never missed a Bodum date in Michigan since 2009. I'll never forget the first time I saw him on the Blood Drunk tour. And fuck, man, there was one time where me and Preston were going to a Bodum show in Grand Rapids and we like got a flat tire on the way. We had to fix the tire on the side of the road. We still made the show. Like,
yeah, I remember you telling me that.
So many things, dude, like that surrounded that. I got to meet him twice, once with Preston, once with you. I never had the balls to say what I wanted to say to him, but which I regret. But either way, this is a individual and a band that just meant, there's no words to say how much they influenced me and they meant to me to this day. They mean to me to this day. And the fact that he's gone is I literally wake up to posters of him on my wall every day. Like I think about him every day. And to at the very least have these 3 tracks, 2 of which original, to have at least an idea of where he was planning on taking this project. It's so bittersweet because it's at least we have this, but man, what it would have been.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Yeah.
And like that.
Yeah.
So the first, I mean, like I said, dude, I'm pretty sure the first time I like watched the video and heard this song, man, I was like, by the second the solo bit kicks in, it's one of my favorite solos he's ever done. And just like I couldn't, I just got just overcome with just, I was so excited to hear it, but at the same time I was like, it just, I don't know, just kind of hit me pretty hard. Because it was, I mean, I think that, just the power of it, man. Like, so that's what you're saying. Like, just when that riff first opens up, and then it goes right into the opening riff, and you just hear this just the scream that comes from,
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, chills, man. Like, yeah, just the whole thing.
And that was kind of the thing, is like the 2 tracks, Paint the Sky with Blood and Payback's a Bitch, kind of it had everything that I would want from a Bodum track in both of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
you know. And I don't know if you ever like, I don't know if I ever showed this to you, and I don't even know if it's real in the way that the Whitechapel thing is, but there is. Some people said there's a secret thing in this cover. So that's the cover, right?
Mhm.
Now, how do I like that? And then, wait, no, like that. And then it's eyeball, nose, mouth. See that? See the
Yo,
face?
yeah, yeah,
See the
yeah,
face?
yeah.
And apparently the theory is that there's a picture online of Alexi at a very, 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 very young age. And the idea is that that's what that's supposed to be. That Alexi's face is actually sideways in the cover.
Dude, I see it.
Yeah.
I'm just seeing it. And
Yeah.
the fact that there's the scythe down at the bottom.
Yeah, the scythe,
Yeah.
right here on the floor.
Mhm.
Yep. So
Wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man, you like you knock it out of the park with the artwork stuff, man. Like,
I love the artwork.
showing me shit I've never seen before after staring at these for so long, and like oh yeah.
But yeah, there is absolutely nothing that I listened to more this year than that EP. And I don't feel like that's gonna stop anytime soon. And
Yeah.
you know how much he meant to me. I didn't even really realize, you know, like I did, but like it didn't come to fruition until like I found out about his passing. And then for over the last year, I've just gone harder and deeper into it than I ever have before. I've gotten some of his guitars, so many posters, t-shirts, hoodies. I've gotten everything I could get my hands on of Bodum. And it just, yeah, it's such a massive loss, and it sucks every fucking day. But like, at the end of the day, we do have these final tracks, and they're so fucking good. And yeah, no, there was just no way that this, and on top of all that, like we've said about a lot of other bands on this list, nobody seems to be talking about it on their end of the year list.
Yeah.
So
You're fucking up, by the way.
fucking up. You don't fuck with tradition.
Yeah. I mean,
And so there's no question for us that Alexi deserved the top spot on our album of the year Filthy 15 list.
I mean, and you know, I mean, outside of just these three songs, like, you know, the fact that we still have everything Bodum ever did released, you know,
10
possibly
albums.
some
10 albums.
spanning, you know,
20 years.
decades. Yeah. You know, is, I mean, the amount of music and the amount of art that he left behind is just, you know, it's really, you know, I've found myself getting more into the, you know, like, because I've always been a fan of them, you know. I just like, whether or not it's like listening to him all the time or just, you know, every so often, like I still, you know, I no less appreciate, you know, just the musician that he was, man. It's just like how much he was able to put of himself. Like he's, you know, Alexi was fucking Bodum, you know. He was
he wrote all the music.
Yeah, that was, you know, his baby, basically, you know. And the fact that there's so much music left, and there's so much that, you know, to like rediscover, to, you know, to get into, and to, you know, to be inspired by, and you know, to continue on what he, you know, what he did for fucking metal, man. Like there's, he was, as like you said, he was the fucking, like a modern rock star, man. Like, man,
Yep.
just they were still to this day some of the most fun I've ever had at a show is seeing them live. Like, I have so many memories from just crazy shit that happened when we saw, when we saw them, and or just cool stories, like it was to what you were saying. Like I got that there's a little laminate down there from the Hext tour that we saw him on. And I I know we were both kind of like in shock a little bit. I feel like,
Oh yeah, big time.
because neither of us really said shit.
Nope.
But yeah, it's like, hey, excited to see you guys. That
We
kind of
are
thing.
not
And
worthy.
yeah,
We are not worthy.
without just So that is one thing that I wish that I just would have gotten on my own way a little bit, and to like kind of like what you said, and just said what I was thinking instead of I mean, because like there's always the inner struggle of not wanting to be a Punisher,
Right.
not wanting to punish.
And
your
on top of
favorite
that,
bands, but-
when we saw them, it was the last time at that Hex store. It was the day after St. Patrick's Day.
Oh yeah,
Remember
I
that?
forgot
So
about
like,
that.
they were fucking
Yeah.
but they still put on a fucking destructive show,
Yeah,
and we were right up front.
yeah,
For the last time that we got to see him, and we got to shake their hands. The last time we got to see him, and that means the world to me.
yeah.
On that Hex store. Yeah, man. Yeah. I can't say enough about these tracks. I can't say enough about him. I've said it throughout the entire fucking year. But it's something that is very, 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 very much still real to me a year later. It's still with me every day. And still something I think about every day. And just, I'm sure much like you with Joey, it's like a sense of responsibility at this point to, because in a lot of ways, because we haven't seen enough, in our opinion, at least enough love, on the social medias and stuff like that, outside of like the groups that we're in and stuff, to where, and the groups help tremendously, but
yeah.
but the groups are worldwide. You and I are local. So it very much feels like there's a sense of responsibility involved to keep their names alive, and just to let everyone in our world know who these people were, and how much they mean to us, and how much they will always mean to us. And yeah, man, like he was the first one for me that was like of our guard that I had on a pedestal that we've lost. And man, it shook me hard, and it still does to this day. But at the end of the day, we do have this platform of Lost in the Dark to be able to always wave their flag, and to always keep them alive. And I feel a sense of responsibility to do that. Whether it's him, whether it's Joey, whether it's anybody that means that level of something to us, that level of influence, that to the point where we fucking, these are the guys we wanted to be. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So it's I do feel a sense of responsibility to always keep them alive in whatever way we can. And I feel like we've done that throughout the last year, and I don't feel like that. I have no intention of stopping that. And I'll probably stop at this point, like, having that be one of the final questions on new guest episodes of the podcast or whatever. But if I can find a way to work into the conversation, I always will. You know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing.
Yeah.
And he'll always be in the crypt. It's not something we will. It's hard. It is hard because it's like it impacted us so much, but it's also something that we're, a lot of people, when something hits them that hard, they have a hard time going back to it, and that's completely reasonable. Whereas I'm like, I want to live in it. And I never want to stop going back to it. I always want to remember, and because it's up to us, because he, like we said already, he's massively underrated, and I want to make him overrated, right?
Yeah.
Like, so it's not something that's gonna go away anytime soon, but yeah, that was a big one. So, and I guess you could call it just the teaser that we got from Paint the Sky with Blood of what this album was going to be. I mean, if this had been a full, like, it's already number one. I guess I don't need, it's already number one. But if it was full length, it would have been number one anyway. And just based off what we've heard of it, because it's so fucking good. It would have probably been that, Cannibal, then Lorna. Like, if that had been the case. But man, yeah, it's one of those things that like really shook me, but also it's like a feeling I don't want to let go of, because over the last year, I feel like I've tried to take his mentality in the podcast, in playing guitar, in just being better in music, and I consider this podcast music for some reason. And it's just everything. I don't want to let that go yet. So he continues to inspire me every single day of my life.
Oh yeah, man. That's the way it should be. I feel like, is why, I think I think for the first little while, when it's kind of fresh, you don't necessarily want to, but then when there's a little bit of distance between it, and when you kind of have a little bit of time to like process it a little more, it makes it a little easier to come back to it, and just more so in memory and in celebration than just to be sad about it,
Yeah. Exactly. That's a great way to put that. Yeah.
Because I mean, had no less of a hard time with loss of Joey and all that stuff. And to your point and what you were saying, like that was he was my Alexi in a lot of ways. He was, I mean, as soon as I found that, as soon as I could understand and like grasp what it was I was listening to, like I was hooked, and being a drummer at such a young age, and wanting to kind of get into it in any way I could, when I saw when I listened to him, and when I saw, I mean, there's a few others around that same time that have that kind of influence on me, but nobody that past a certain point, really just, is just undeniable. Like there's just these, just they just they just have just this crazy gift for what they're doing, and just this incredible drive for wanting to just make it happen at all costs. And I feel like that's a big similarity between Alexia and Joey. They have, in a lot of ways, they're kind of similar, influences for both of us, I feel like, because it, like I said, like they're had such a significant impact when we first heard them, and then just never stopped. They were just always, as relentless as possible. And both of them had that same kind of mentality of like, I got I got fucking The Only Way Is All the Way written on my board right there. I see it every single day amongst a couple other things I got written there. And that's just, it's just the little things of trying to, and I got a one next to it. It's just the little things that you kind of keep with you, and you try your best to keep their memory and stuff. And I mean, I guess if we're getting into the last little bit of, talking about the last little bit of the year and stuff, like, one of the best ways that I feel like I could have possibly, whether it be just myself or just with the individuals, was the cover that we did, and just the music video and stuff was a whole other thing, and just being able to have that, and to know that happened, and to be able to, to have put as much of him into that, just in honor, whether, outside of the fact that it was a whole tribute album that was, all the proceeds were going towards transverse myelitis, which is what ended up taking him. I'm not sure if it was that directly, but that was definitely a factor in it. I feel like it must have been.
Yeah.
There still isn't an exact, they haven't come out and said. I feel like it's going to be a little while, much like it was with Alexia on the I don't know, the cause, I suppose. Not that it really makes a difference at this point.
Right.
I just, yeah, like you just, like, like you were saying, I try to find ways to keep it alive, to keep that influence alive. And honestly, like, it's gotten me, I kind of, it's so, even now, it's still kind of weird to me that they happen in such quick succession of each other. And it was such a hard thing for both of us, in a very, in
And
kind
they were
of the same way.
friends.
Yeah. Like, it just, the whole thing is very, I still have kind of a hard time wrapping my head around it a bit. But it's, I think the thing for me that kind of helps out, I kind of took some notes from you on this, as far as, like, just buying stuff, and just like wanting just these things to just, things that you've been looking at for a long time. Like, I got quite a few, like, gear stuff this year, like, just some cool, memorabilia stuff, or just, just different things that I found that I wouldn't otherwise have gone after, but just because of the circumstances and everything, like, I just felt like having that stuff, made me kind of closer to him, I guess, and just kind of keeping that memory, and that inspiration, because that's really a lot of what it was, I mean, I think like, for the last, like, I don't know, for quite a few months after, I was jamming nothing but the first four. Like, I was, that was it. Like, it was just start it and then just keep it going, and just, just revisiting so many songs that I loved from them, and just kind of remembering why it was I got into them. And same way with, with Bodum, when that happened, like, I must have went for a good few weeks of just listening to everything, even stuff that I, like, kind of missed out on, just because they have so much music, and there's so much that I just kind of, didn't necessarily, like, pay super close attention to, but I always listen to, and, to go back to it with the same kind of, you know, the same kind of appreciation for it that I had when I first heard some of the stuff that got me into them was, it's pretty cool. So I just, it's hard to be all right with it
Yeah.
because it's still, like there's nothing, you can't go back or whatever. And like, I know that there's a few times where, I had the chance to meet him or whatever, and I had to, this and that and things fell through. It's actually kind of a funny story of how it all happened. But oddly enough, at a Mayhem Fest, which is, I mean, some of my favorite concert memories ever, really, just
Yeah.
period at all. So, I'm just, yeah, man, like I think that I like to give it to anybody else to, after just, being finally able to hear the last little bit of what was, what was potentially going to be something really, really different for them and really special for them, to have that last, the last bit of art from from him is, I mean, I can't, and it just blew me away like that. Like I said, like that, hearing that solo, the way it goes into it, hearing that scream at the beginning of it, and then, ultimately going through it and, listening to the other songs, and then the way that it ends out with the chorus, with the, with the guitar kind of fading out with the acoustic stuff at the end of it is just, it's very, it's like a, it's like a, till next time kind of a thing,
Yeah.
it's like a,
Yeah. So it is for that reason, those
Yeah.
reasons, that Bodum After Midnight, Paint the Sky with Blood makes #1 in our 2021 Filthy 15 Album of the Year list. There it is, everyone.
That's it.
You've gotten all 15. You've gotten the honorable mentions. We did it. And it was quite a journey.
Yeah, it's been fun, man. It's been cool to
It's
revisit
always,
some of the
these are
stuff. Yeah.
always fun, dude.
Yeah.
These are always so much fun. Yeah. We've talked about maybe doing a movie of the year list, because this year had some pretty crazy, for me at least individually, is a pretty crazy year for movies for me.
Oh, yeah, it was epic, man. Like I couldn't believe some of the stuff that was actually, like, that we were seeing on screen.
Yeah.
Throughout the year,
So we might end up doing that. I'd be down to do that. But that's gonna do it for the end of the year. Now, I do want to do one last thing here, and I've already fucked up. Maybe I'll do it on the outro, just because I don't have a list in front of me. But I do want to shout out, like, everyone that's been on the show this year, everyone that supported us in any way, shape, or form, everyone that we got to finally see live. God, I can't. Yeah, I'll probably just do it on the outro so I can have a list in front of me. Because there's Convalescence, Reflection of Flesh. Help me out.
Well, Cerebral Cortex.
Scream at the Sky. We haven't seen Blood of Angels yet. Who else was at the Halloween show? Recorruptor, Breathing Process, Convalescence, Battlecross. God damn it. I said that fucking lineup like 10,000 times to promote it. Now I can't remember it. Holy fuck. but yeah, like I'll get into it on the outro. I'll get into it on the outro. It's all good.
I'm just looking through just what we posted recently. Bound by Years was on. War was on.
War.
Angels. Circa Arcana was on. Of course, our newfound we can't forget about the Bog Talk Podcast Network
Oh fuck yes!
doing the
Multiverse
Fest,
Murder Fest,
which will have a return this year.
Love them. Hopefully soon. Hopefully,
Yeah.
like very, 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 very soon. Hopefully this week.
Yeah.
We'll have a little bit more with them.
Shouts out to Goon Lord. That was another one.
Oh Lord, yes.
Casket Robbery, Blood of Angels, Reflection of Flesh, Stream at the Sky. Victims of the System. Really hope I'm not missing anybody.
I'll get to him in the outro if you're all right. It's
Yeah.
all good. It's all good. Because
once
Jesus.
Human,
fucking Christ,
Pestilent Age.
We talked about, we had some amazing people on.
Kill the Imposter. Shouts out to
Johnny Nobody.
yeah, the Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal
Normal Encounters
Podcast.
podcast. Coming to you from the glacial dumping ground known as the Michigan Basin. Wayne and Michelle are a husband and wife educator and podcasting duo that examine all things strange and paranormal within Michigan and beyond.
Yeah.
Everybody check out all things. The Michigan UFO Sightings and Paranormal podcast. They deserve such a giant shout out. If it weren't for them, the guest that we had on our fucking Christmas show would have never happened.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
amazing. I love Wade and Michelle.
For also,
we still got to
because
get down there and have dinner with them.
Yeah, we got to put something together.
Yeah.
For being as welcoming as possible and allowing us to do a whole 3-hour podcast with you at Mackinac over my birthday. That was probably one of I don't know, just like
that was, for the record, that was their like first like long ass episode like that.
Yeah,
like all the other episodes before that were like an hour, and then we come on and we're like, woo,
we're gonna talk from like pretty much
we'll
like
take you deep, bro.
The evening to like sundown we were talking. So that was awesome.
Yeah, the sun was still up.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was something really cool that happened this year. Definitely a good time. I'd like to get back on with them. I realized that they were on, at least Wayne was, or later on. No,
they were both on a few I think 1 or 2 times. Yeah, I think they were on like about, we did one where they were on ours, and then we did a crossover. And I think but yeah, you definitely want to get back on with them. Like that's they are the best. They're so awesome. I can't wait. I'd love to do one in person with them one day.
Yeah, it'd be fun. I think that's about it. Interpreter. I don't know if you mentioned Interpreter yet.
Well, they were on our album of the year list, so
yeah. So we more than mentioned them. Yeah. But shouts out again for that. Yeah, man.
And the biggest shout out of the year, hands down, has got to go to Keith from The Convalescence for bringing us most of these bands, getting us in contact with most of them. This guy means so much to me. I don't even know where to start. Like, he brought us so many bands, so many opportunities. We've taken every single one we can, and without him, half of these bands we never even talked to. So he means the absolute world to us. The Convalescence has a new album coming out this year. I may or may not, maybe not heard some maybe things from maybe not this upcoming album. buckle the fuck up is all I'm gonna say. And they got a massive fucking tour coming, massive tour, tours plural, coming this year. They kick off, as far as I know, it's still going. In February they're going to be over there in Europe with Carnifex. But I have no question that they will be having some pretty massive shit here in the States this year, that we will be promoting to death. So everybody keep an eye out for all things Convalescence. Keith from the Convalescence, lead singer and the owner of the Legend Recording Agency, which is where many of these bands come from that are on his roster. Man, he means just the absolute world to me, and I will fucking support everything they ever do forever, because they are just some of the best people I've ever met, and they've helped us more than I can't even put it into words. So
Yeah, man. Eternally grateful for that.
Eternally grateful, and we will support you forever.
And just, I mean, definitely some of my favorite stories and like favorite moments from
Oh my
being
God.
on here is talking to him, and and yeah,
I can't wait to get more of the Convalescence on,
Yeah,
because I know they got stories too.
Oh yeah, must be cool. Just I'm sure. Yeah, they're like I gotta imagine there's some like I got some like, because a band like that, like you get. I imagine like with the corpse paint stuff and the backstage stuff and putting everything together. Like I gotta imagine that there's some like ritual stuff that happens before the sets and stuff, and before like I wonder if they're it'd just be fun to kind of talk about some of that stuff and figure out like what the pre-show ritual stuff is, or like what they what some of like the on tour type antic stuff is, outside of just because I mean, last time we saw it for the Halloween show, I was pretty like super, not only just inspired by, just the sheer power of that band live.
Oh my God.
But also the like their whole stage setup is really something to see. Yeah. Like it just, they really pull you into hell. Like just make
this
it
is hell.
Yeah, it's really cool. So yeah, man,
they are incredible, and no bones about it. I can already guarantee they're going to be featured on album of the year list next year.
Oh
year.
Yeah.
So 2022. So
I wanted to put fucking, because I got more into them this year than I have in like or maybe it's the last several, I'd say, but yeah, like I put Monument of Misery on this list this year.
Oh yeah, I put them on that list. I put them on the list that it came out. Absolutely, absolutely. And they Keith, you and the Convalescence mean so fucking much to us. And on top of all of that, they will be featured in an upcoming film. Called Cult, kind of like an underground horror film called Cult Affairs, and my cousin Preston and I, co-founder of the show, were extras in the crowd for that shoot. So whenever we will be posting about that whenever it comes out, and
I'm excited to see that.
And apparently we'll be invited to the premiere, so hopefully you can come to that too. Yeah, we'll I think that's coming out this year. So hopefully we'll see what happens with that. And they got a new album coming, tons and tons and tons of tours. They are some of the most relentless that I've ever seen. In terms of touring. And I love them, all of them, to death. From knowing Keith, from meeting like a handful of everybody else at the ride at the racetracks show that we went to that night. Man, they're just the best. They're just the coolest
Yeah.
All I want to do is hang out with them. Like, that's all, I just want to hang out with these guys.
Their scheduling stuff makes me fucking exhausted. I don't know how.
I kind of cause you a little anxiety, doesn't it?
Yeah, a little bit.
Oh
Like,
my, holy fuck, guys.
yeah.
But
That's a lot of shows. That's like, but
yeah.
hey, man, like all fucking power to it, man. I love seeing it.
And we will forever support everything that they do because they have done so much for us. And we can, and I've said this before, there's absolutely no way we can ever repay them, but one day I will find a way. and I'm always searching.
Yeah.
So like, that's always in the back of my mind. So yeah, one day we'll come together in a certain kind of way that does that. But I will get into more shout outs on the intro and the outro for this. Is that it? Are we done?
I want to say, yeah. Man,
It's
what
been
a year.
quite a journey.
Yeah.
I feel good about this. I feel good. I feel like we have given the time to I'm sure the second we hit end record, I'll remember something as always, but luckily we have the intros and the outros to work on that. And if we want, we can even figure out a way to do the intros and outros together or whatever. But yeah, I feel like this is it. I feel like we have done the Filthy 15 for 2021, right? Yeah. 2021.
Yeah, dude.
I'm so bad.
It all just like
2020, 21 don't count.
Yeah.
Like I just don't even.
Well, 2022 is just like it all just sounds like a fake year to me.
Yeah,
like,
it's 2020
2.
part 2.
Yeah.
Like,
and
I don't want that.
Yeah.
2020 was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
That's why I forget it. I was just drunk the whole year.
Yeah.
Do a podcast. But
yeah, man. Let's wrap it up.
I feel good with this. I feel like this is a great Filthy 15.
Yeah.
We killed this shit. And man, no, I mean, yeah, this was a good one. This is a good one. So yeah, we'll wrap this one up. Man, and I'll get into it more on the intros and outros, but everybody that's had anything to do, whether you commented, whether you watched, whether you were in a band that was on, whether you supported us in any way, I mean, we're sitting here almost 4 years in at this point, and we cannot believe. We can't believe it. We can't believe the support that we've gotten, the people that we've gotten, the bands that we've gotten, how amazing all the bands we've gotten are. It's just, it like every single time I think about it, I feel it's like an out of body experience.
Yeah.
To where it's like, did we really do that? And it's like, yeah, we did. And we did it with all of you amazing people. And without you, this wouldn't be what it is. We never expected this to be what it's become. We never even expected to have guests outside of Balgraith and Recorruptor. We never even expected to have guests.
Yeah.
So the fact that we've gotten guests on from all over the country and potentially soon all over the world, and not only that, but bands that have toured the world, like the Convalescents. There's absolutely no fucking words I can say right now that can possibly express the gratitude and the appreciation I have for all of that support. Now, like, it doesn't it's like an out of body experience because it still doesn't even make sense to me in a lot of ways. I don't,
Yeah.
it's like we're just two guys chilling in our rooms in Michigan right now, and for some reason people want to be
Yeah.
involved with us, and it blows my fucking mind every fucking time. And all we're gonna do now is just keep going with it and try to make it bigger, try to make it better. And like we stumbled upon this audience, the situation, and it just means the world to us. It really does. I can't speak for you on this one because you're actually in a very good real band that has reached corners of the earth. But for me, for someone that's not in a band that's ever done anything like that, the idea that like I can just sit here and talk into a microphone and people that I love and respect and the music means the world to me, want to talk to me and be on the show, it just blows my fucking mind. Like every single one of you, everybody that's seeing this right now that has been on the show or I've seen live or whatever, look, from my perspective, you are all fucking rock stars. Even you, Aaron, like everyone, all of you, Alex, everyone in Blog Wraith and Recorruptor and every band that we've ever had on, Victims of the System, even like everyone. Compared to me, you're all fucking rock stars. So, and that's how I see everyone, and it just blows my mind every time I think about it. And I can't thank everyone enough. All the viewers, all the commenters, all the likers, everyone that follows us on social media, YouTube, everything. Hopefully, my New Year's resolution is to do a lot better on getting this stuff out on audio platforms as well. Not just YouTube, so that way we maybe have a little bit more of a reach. But and not just we have more of a reach, because I don't care about that. But what I do care about is if bands want to be on our show, I want to have a bigger reach for them. That's honestly 100% my motivation.
Yeah.
I could give a fuck about people caring about Lost in the Dark podcast, but if people like the bands that we've had on that I genuinely care about want to be on our show, then I want to have a bigger reach for them.
Yeah.
And you and Recorruptor. And that's what drives me. So that's my New Year's resolution, is to get this shit out better on audio platforms more than just YouTube. And y'all mean the world to me. And I think about there's not, like, literally, like, I'm not even fucking kidding, Aaron. Like, when I wake up, this is the first thing I think about. Like, what do I do with the podcast today? Like, it's every single day. This is my obsession. So, and it's all of you, and it's because of everyone that's been involved in it that has made that a reality for me. And y'all mean the fucking world to me, and I couldn't do any of this without any of you. And yeah, I mean, it just, we're almost 4 years in. We'll do this again on the 4-year anniversary, but it just means the world to me. So I can't, I don't know what else to say.
I feel the exact same, like I mean, we started this just to kind of record conversations that we were having to and from shows, or just about shows, or just about music or whatever. Yeah. And it's the fact that, I, like said, there are definitely points where, it's a bit overwhelming because, there's quite a few, like I always feel an obligation, like kind of like what you were saying, whenever we have any other bands or any guests of any sort on there, like I always want to do well by them, and to be able to give them the space to talk about just anything, to any like tour stories, any like anything about like just art stuff, I really want, I guess, to follow suit with you. Like I want to, this year I want to just be a little bit more involved with, just doing this, just a little more like posting and stuff, because there was a good chunk last year where, for a variety of reasons, where I wasn't on certain episodes, or I wasn't, there was a lot of stuff where I wasn't quite, whether it was just like, scheduling stuff or just anything like that. Like if I'm being honest, like this last like 2 years, really, I mean, for everybody's been, tough or whatever. And I just, and myself included, I've spent a lot of time within the last year, just trying to figure out what it is that, I really want to do, and like where my focus should be at and stuff. And it's been kind of tough sometimes. And so like that's, I love that there's, I always feel it's like a warm blanket doing this sometimes, man. Like you just, it's fucking, it's when it doesn't matter how long it's been since the last one, or since we talked to the last people, or whatever. Like it's just, it's always something I look forward to, and it's gotten me to do a lot of things that I wouldn't have known how to do otherwise, and it's gotten me to kind of open up, and to, just outside of just that stuff, but just to meet some really fucking cool bands, and to, finally, sort of just have that kind of like back and forth, and to hear some really cool stories, and give some other people the time to, to show off what they're, just the cool shit that they're doing. Cause that's like, that to me is some of the best, that's some of the best stuff that's happened. And, I'm always, I want to take a little more time to just be, a little more grateful to just, be a part of something like this. Cause it's something that, either the interview stuff, or just being able to sit here for the last 2 nights and just do nothing but just talk about fucking metal, and just, new stuff that's come out and everything. Like it's so, it's a very cool place, in the world right now, to, especially with everything else going on. Like it's kind of cool sometimes to just be able to shut it all off, and then just to, talk about whatever movies, I've like we were talking earlier, there's so many times where it's like, this is actually in theaters, like this is actually what we're seeing, there's a bunch of, really cool stuff coming out or whatever. And to just be able to, to give back to the art, and to the, to the things that got us so into what we're into, and, I don't know, I'm pretty speechless sometimes, I feel like I'm pretty quiet as far as like the social stuff and everything like that. And I'm, I try to interact as much as I can, but it genuinely, makes me, just, I don't know. I appreciate it all. And I want to take a little more time to just be, to give a little more of myself into it. So whatever that may be. So just, yeah. So it's my long-winded way of just saying, thank you to everybody that watched, to anybody, likes, comments, that follows us, all the people that have been on. Like it's really fucking cool to see where this has gone, and to, to where it's going. So
I mean, it's something that neither of us expected ever.
Yeah, it's still hard to put into words a lot of times.
Really is. It really is, because we started this as a thing that never intended on being anything more, and it's become that. And it floors us, it humbles us, and there it is. There it is, everyone. There it is. There it fucking is. Our Filthy 15 2021
Slash end of the year.
/ end of the year. Send off the 2021 podcast. Welcome to 2022, where we are going to have, wait for it, the Mad Notes.
The Mad Notes.
The Mad Notes. You know, like we're gonna have some crazy shit this year. There is so much to be anticipated for. But that I think that's gonna do it for this episode. End of the year 2021 Filthy 15 album of the year list. And we just, from the bottom of our hearts, we cannot thank any of you enough for if you're watching this right now, if you are seeing me say this right now, you are just, you mean the world to us. And you have no idea, because we never thought that anyone besides us would ever see this shit. So, and the fact that we're at this point where we're doing album of the year lists and stuff like that, it really just means the world to us. So thank you so much. And yeah, I mean, we will be back. We'll be back very soon. Actually, we'll be back very soon. We got like quite a lot of shit like lined up already. So, and a few things I haven't even mentioned to you yet, and then you know what? Yeah, we'll get into that after. But yeah, like this has been nothing but amazing. We can't thank you all enough. One more time, number one, Bottom After Midnight, Paint the Sky with Blood, album of the year, number one. Alexi Forever. This was 2021 was the year of Alexi for us. We're gonna have to find, so 2020 was the year of the blah. 2021 was the year of Alexi. We're gonna have to find a new thing for 2022. We haven't found it yet, but we will. So keep an eye out for that. And
I don't want to speak anything negative into existence, because something negative had to happen for that to be a thing. So that's kind of, I hope we can find it in some other way than through through a tragedy.
yeah, we don't want to find it. I mean 2020, the year of the black, that's not a tragedy. So, no.
Well, depending on who you ask, I guess.
Depending on who you ask, fuck them. Blah is awesome.
Yeah.
I
ain't got a problem with it,
but we got, I mean, okay, real quick, there's so much, the world of metal is in no way sleeping. There is so much to anticipate for the next year. We already got potential albums. Some of these not officially confirmed. We got a new album from Ozzy, Lamb of God, Slipknot, Cattle Decapitation, Lorna Shore, Jasta, Corpse Grinder, Devil Driver, Behemoth, Megadeth, Kill the Imposter, The Convalescence, and Anthrax. Potentially, that's already the 2022 list that we're keeping an eye out for. So again, some of those confirmed, some of those not totally confirmed yet, some of those not confirmed yet at all. But we'll see. But between that and the shows that have already been announced, this year is shaping up to be a great year for metal. So we got a lot of exciting things coming in the next year. I'm gonna be starting a new paranormal podcast called Follow the Reaper. Shout out to Children of Bodom. So keep an eye out for that. And yeah, like we It's nothing. It's doing nothing but looking up, right? Like we're moving somehow, and it's gonna be great, and it's all thanks to all of you that are watching this right now. So thank you all so much. This has been Lost in the Dark's Filthy 15 Album of the Year 2021 list. We cannot thank you enough for watching. That's gonna do it. That's our send off for 2021. Everything from here on out is 2022. So, in light of that, raise your fucking horns and bang your goddamn heads. We love you all to death. Good night. And there it is, everyone. The full Album of the Year Filthy 15 2021 list. It's finally done, and we definitely hit on a lot of people that mean a lot to us, and everyone that we talked about means a lot to us, and a lot of it is stuff that we don't feel like was talked about enough. So there you go. We talked about it and brought hopefully at least a small spotlight to it, because it's all things that we felt like genuinely deserved that in a big bad way. So that's gonna do it for not just the Album of the Year Filthy 15 2021 list, but that's gonna do it for Lost in the Dark 2021, and everything from here on out is just the future, 2022. So we hope you all enjoyed. Anyone that followed us or liked us or watched us or did anything over the last year, was a guest on the show, anything, we can never ever ever thank you all enough. And we just have our fingers crossed that we can do so much more next year in 2022. So as always, we love you all to death, and raise your fucking horns, bang your goddamn heads. We love you all to death. Good night.